Hi everyone, this is Karak from AngryCentaurGaming, and today I'm bringing you the review for Wolfenstein: The New Order on Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and the PC. This version is for the Xbox 360 version and the PC version. Wolfenstein takes place during 1960 in a world in which the Nazis won the Second World War. You're William B.J. Blazkowicz, who is tasked with launching an impossible but entirely possible counteroffensive against the Nazi powers that have taken over the world. This is pretty much Dirty Dancing, but taking Patrick Swayze's character from Red Dawn and switching him out. Wolfenstein has a bit of a long story that's both storied and a bit trailer park. Let's see if this new game steps it up in gameplay and story, or if it continues the trend of lackluster money grab sequels like they were made from a think tank called stealing your shit and making you think it's cool. Machine Games is the developer, and though they have not made a single game together, they do have some folks who've worked on some excellent titles like Riddick and Darkness. You could ask for more, but begging is inappropriate when you don't have a dog with you to make people feel sorry for you, so let's just get it over with. Graphics are up first. Well, I played the 360 version and the PC version, and of course the PC version is so many steps above the 360 version as to be laughable. The 360 version also has 2 or 3 major graphical bugs at different times that stopped me from even moving forward, so I said fuck it and bought the game on Steam. If you have a choice, this is a game that should be played on one of the next-gen systems. It looks good or okay on the 360, but it looks damn impressive on the other systems. Sadly, though, the PC still had issues. You know how you have a 50% chance of plugging a USB thumbstick into a computer upside down on the first try, then you flip it over and somehow it's 100% certainty you will put it in upside down? It's sort of like Neil deGrasse Tyson couldn't explain that shit. The same mind-boggling things happen here. First, this is about as optimized as a plastic sack used as a fucking parachute. You need a Cray computer and all the power and all the clouds to get this thing to run better than average. The return on computer power here is about the same as the return on investment at one of those check-to-cash places with interest that has to be shown as mathematical calculations because it's so fucking high. Now, the cutscenes were really good, but had a fucking bug that caused a vertical black line to crawl up the screen like it was trying to erase my memories of childhood, and 2 computers in vertical sync on, off, on, off, on, off. Didn't fix it. Finally, I just said fuck it, kept playing. Besides, the story's like dipping human balls into paint and calling it art. It's not bad, but it will make you wonder what the hell people were thinking. Sound, music, and voice. You know, sound is fairly well done, though there are some mixing issues with the guns, and once again, a game engine has the guns resonate right in the same spectrum as everything else in the world, and in some environments you can barely hear them fire. Most of the time it's fine, but sometimes you can honestly think that you're out of bullets. They get so quiet. They sound good, though. By that I mean they sort of have that almost Acme level production of some of the guns back then, which means that when you fire them, they sound like they're gonna fucking tear themselves apart in your hands, which is exactly how they should sound. Explosions make you duck, and all in all, war sounds fairly good here. Music is fairly good with a grasp on the desire for players to feel like they're human tanks flying through the air. I couldn't find a picture of a human tank, so here's one in the air just firing. The music is all around really good. It's bombastic. It's the way it should be. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and it isn't perfect, but all in all, I really liked it. So up next is voice. You know, it wasn't half bad. The story it wasn't shit, but it was fairly close. But the folks delivering the words did a hell of a job. I really enjoyed the voice acting, and the main guy sounded perfect for the role, as did all those around him. Just really well done. Up next is gameplay. You know, this really is a new type of gaming. You're a man with a gun, you shoot things with it, occasionally stopping to grab other guns and weapons, and also reloading. Hot on the heels of the new RTS strategy genre. This new genre I have dubbed shooter because you shoot shit, and frankly calling it an alternate world, real life, but sort of mystical journey simulator would just be weird. Seriously though, guys, this is what it's expected. It's a shooter. And there's nothing really wrong with that. Listen, you run around, you shoot shit, you stab and stab and stab and stab and stab. Oh, look, Michael Myers, stab, stabbity, stab, 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 stab. Putting more holes in people than God during creation. You crank out a fabrication line of defeated enemies behind you like Swiss cheese meat sacks that should run for cover, but instead they sort of sprint towards you with a magnet-like attraction that hasn't been seen since Donut Day at the Quickest Loser. The AI runs and ducks and dodges, but mostly tries to get as close to you as humanly possible before trying to make your body a 10-micron air filter. Also, the levels are a bit more open-ended than some shooters. You aren't in a rat in a maze, but you also aren't running around getting lost because there's like 40 ways to go. Instead, there's like 3 to 4 per area, which makes it interesting, but not amazing. Now, the overall feel is really good, with control being fairly spot on and some interactive bits here and there. Nothing new or amazing, it's just solid shooter that concentrates more on making you know that this shit could have happened if Nazis won and knew about magic versus technical perfection. This is a Bob Ross painting, not a fucking blueprint. A solid desire to show you some cool shit and some weird enemies, and give you just a basic paintbrush with a trigger to make your own art as you go. There's nothing new worth noting here, but it does come together. First, we all know that there's simply no better enemy than Hitler and his Nazi forces. Maybe because we have such good documentation, both video and audio, versus even worse leaders in the past. But I don't think this would be half as cool if it was called Rasputinstein or Genghis Khan. Actually, Those might be really cool. But let's be honest, the list of enemies we want to energetically eviscerate, Robert Patterson and Nazis are on the top of that list. So what do you get with Wolfenstein? Well, you know, it's a game worth getting at some price. Maybe not full price, but some price. We'll come to that in a second. On the 360, it wasn't a looker. On the PC, it was fine, but had a series of bugs, so neither were perfect. The control was good, whether I was using a controller or keyboard, and the game's length was actually fantastic at like 13 to 14 hours. You know, I rate games on a buy, wait for a sale, rent, or never talk about it again rating scale. You know, this is a buy barely. If you can wait, you can get it on sale, but even right now, you could probably get it on sale. The longevity of the campaign and the fact that the game doesn't do anything wholly wrong means it's better than most that have come recently. It's a shooter, and with a couple different ways to most objectives, you won't be too bored or forced into end engagements you don't want to take. The shooting is solid, the music is excellent, the voice acting is good, and the story is, well, it's interesting. So this is Karak. Thanks for listening and watching. If you liked the video, hit like. If you disliked it, hit dislike and share it if you can. Peace out, bitches.